Hi everybody, it's me, Reedy, with another helping to beat the first man for you. And coming up on this week's show, we are joined by musician Dale on Zooming In. We see the return of 4D. And who does Ted hand out his little knob of the week to this week? It's a little bit of a surprise one. So what we're waiting for, roll the titles. So here we are then, episode 70 of our little show. If you are new to the show, thank you for coming on board. Please be sure to click the subscribe down below. If you've been here before, thank you for staying on board the BTFM bus. As always, much appreciated. Get involved, leave your comments down below, and don't forget that little thumbs up button. One of those every now and then makes life so much happier. So, time for a bit of how old for you. So again, if you're new to the show, just to explain how it works, we put up a picture of an old footballer and all you have to do is guess how old he was when the photo was taken. So what we like to do is give you a little bit of background to the man involved. So this week it was a man who started his career at Charlton Athletic. He played 254 times, scoring 85 goals. But one game is much more memorable than all the others, where he was actually sent off for fighting with his own teammate. After a spell in the USA at the brilliantly named New England T-Men, he returned to the UK with Crystal Palace, where this photo that you're going to see in a minute was actually taken. He made another 56 appearances for them before he decided he was bored of that bit of London. So he moved a little bit further west and he went to QPR, where he scored 20 goals in 78 matches. Bored with that, he went back to Charlton and he played a further 93 matches for Charlton, scoring another 24 goals before ending his career with a short spell at Cambridge United. For all those wonderful, wonderful exploits, let's be honest, all we want to know is when this photo of Mike Flanagan was taken. How old was he? So, answer to be revealed, as always, later on in the show. So, there was no Premier League action last weekend, but I know how much you missed it when we didn't do it for 2 or 3 weeks. So here's a bit of Dad v Lad, fantasy football. So we're back with another Dad v Lad fantasy football with me and Kian. Kian, how are we?
Not too bad.
Good.
All right.
Right. Well, the good thing is we've got no matches to review from last week because obviously there actually wasn't any. But we've obviously had to pick new teams for this week. Now, it's been a bit of a shitstorm the last few weeks. So I think it's probably better we just go from scratch. So let's go with your goalkeeper. So I've still got Edison in goal. He's playing this weekend.
Well, I know I said last week about using my wild card, but it was still active this week.
Yeah.
So I've had to use it again. But Edison's still in goal. He's stayed in there.
All right. Okay. So my defence, I've got still Diaz of Chelsea, of Man City. I've got Rudiger of Chelsea, Reguilon of Tottenham, and Connor Cody.
I've got Diaz, he's still there. Alexander Arnold, but he's got like a little fake COVID test thing next to him because it says he's ill, but he's probably all right.
Probably.
Rudiger, I bought him in. And Ben White's in there. I don't know why. He's quite shit, really. I might have to take him out. You know.
Right, so my midfield, I've got Saka, Bukayo Saka, Jota, Mason Mount, and Bernardo Silva.
I've got Bernardo Silva I've bought in because there's like Salah's obviously at the African Cup of Nations, and I bought Son in. Then Son got injured. I don't know when. So Bernardo's come in. Jota, he's come in as well. Rafinha's in there. And Bowen's coming because he's playing us at the weekend, so he's bound to score.
So basically you've decided to copy my team so that I can't catch you.
No, not exactly, but you know.
Right, and my two strikers, I've got Mopé and I've got Timo Pukki. There's a reason why I've got Timo Pukki.
I'm surprised. I've got Antonio.
Yeah.
Because once again, just like Bowen, he's playing us. So he's bound to score. And I've got Kane because they're playing a double game week. So it's an easy captain.
So I've got Mopé as my captain because they got a double game week. And they've got Crystal Palace, who he always scores against. And they've got Chelsea, and Chelsea do let in goals. So I have captained Mopé as my... I didn't like doing it, but I have captained him.
Well, Kane does always seem to score against Arsenal. So
yeah, fair.
I've got him in there.
So on the bench, I've got Ramsdale still. I'm not bringing him in for Edison this week. I've got Gabriel, who is now not suspended. So there is a potential I might bring him in. But I don't think I can't see who I'm going to leave out if I bring him in.
Nah.
I don't want to take out Rudiger because they got 2 games.
Yeah, exactly.
The only one I could really take out, Tottenham, Reguilon's got 2 games.
Yeah, exactly.
Cody's Wolves have got Southampton at home. I got Diaz has got Chelsea. Now, part of me thinks that Diaz might let a goal in against Chelsea, so I might swap Gabriel. But then I think Gabriel will let in a goal against Tottenham, so I might just leave him on the bench. And then I've got. Then the reason I've had to go Pookie is because I've kept Mo Salah in my squad because I don't want to risk. I don't want to risk not being able to get him back in. So Salah is my high-earning, high-value player who basically is on the other side of the world and is not even part of my squad. And I've got Dennis on the bench as well because he's injured. So he's on the bench, which is a bit of a shame because it's a double game week. I'm tempted to put him in instead of Pookie in the hope that Dennis is fit because then I get 2 games out of Dennis as well.
And he's bound to score in one of them because he's been playing really well. So
you would think so. So we shall see. And vice captain, I've gone Diogo Jota.
I've got Rafinha as my vice captain. I'll probably change it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm tempted. In fact, I think I am going to. In fact, I'm going to do it as we speak. So I'm taking the risk that Dennis is going to be fit. Because worst case scenario, if he's not, Pookie will come in anyway, won't he?
Yeah, exactly.
So I've chucked Dennis in the team with Mopé. So I've got a Watford striker and a Brighton striker up front. I can't understand why I'm not winning this whole thing.
No.
I mean, it's ridiculous, really. I should be walking it.
My bench striker is Gelhardt, who's injured.
Yeah, well, I got rid of him because he's injured. So there we go. So the overall, I mean, obviously nothing's changed because there's no games, but let's just quickly look and see where we are. You are 83 points clear of me going into this weekend's game. So I expect that lead to be at least halved when Timo Pukki gets a hat-trick after Dennis is declared not fit. Or what will probably happen is Dennis will play, Pukki will get a hat-trick, and Dennis won't score any. That's what's inevitably going to happen.
That's the sort of thing that will happen, won't it?
Yeah. So so we're recording this on Tuesday night. Tomorrow, Kian, you are the birthday boy. So happy birthday to a lad.
Thank you.
No problem. And later on in the show, you're back. What have you got for us this week? We got a single, a band, or what this week?
We've got a single guy singing it, and it's an album.
Oh, an album choice. I like it.
Then there's also a band at the end. But I've actually not... I would have done them, but I've actually not heard the song yet because they played it on the radio today. Right. Fair enough. I just kind of said that they've released some of it. But other than that, yeah, it's mainly just the guy and his album. Right. So there you are. Later on in the show, check out Kian Says Listen Up when he gives you an album to listen to. So for now, from Dad v Lad Fantasy Football, Kian, we'll see you next week. See you later. Me, it's back to the show. There we are then, the changes are in. There's a full set of fixtures this weekend. I think it's fair to say this is the weekend the comeback starts. Although it was his birthday, so I feel like I should let him win this weekend. Not a chance. Now, it's been a very long time since I did this. So, for those who haven't seen this before, you're about to see the most prestigious award handed out on social media channels across the country. This is 4D. What's 4D, I hear you ask? What's 4D, Rudy? Well, I'll tell you what 4D is. So 4D is quite simply involving this very expensive cloth cap and one of these, a toilet roll holder. Well, how does that become 4D, I hear you ask? No, I'm not doing it again. So it's quite simple, toilet roll holder. 3 doff 4D. So who's the winners of 4D? We've not done one for ages. Well, the FA Cup threw up the most beautiful 4D last weekend. So 16th place League One, Cambridge United travelled to Saudi Arabia. Newcastle United for their third round tie. Eddie Howe clearly saw it as an opportunity to build a bit of confidence. He even included his new £15 million man, Kieran Trippier, who I quote, has signed to be part of the project, not for the money. Really? Okay, yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to swap Atletico Madrid for Newcastle United after all? So anyway, you all know what happened. It don't really need me to explain it. Cambridge United gave him a right old good punch on the nose with a 1-0 victory. So for that alone, we salute you, Cambridge United, in the best way we know with...
4D, Cambridge United. Congratulations. So there we go. Been a long time since we've handed one out. By God, I enjoyed doing that one. It was nice. So, road to Wembley last week. We had the two old duffers on here from Swindon Town ahead of their game against Manchester City. Of course, we know what happened. The beat the first man. FA Cup curse kicked in as Man City beat Swindon 4-1. I'm not sure I could take the blame for that one, to be fair. I think curse or no curse, that result was probably always going to happen. So Man City have drawn Fulham in the next round, so we are now behind Man City in the FA Cup. So I'm looking for a Man City fan that wants to come on the show. So if you know any, tag them on social media, get them involved. I want a Man City fan to come on before their tie against Fulham. Please don't be the club that lets us down. This weekend, the FA Trophy and the Vars swing back into action. So in the FA Trophy, you might recall we're now following Halifax Town after they got through in the last round. They are away at Alfreton Town on Saturday, so we're all behind Halifax on Saturday for that one. And in the Vars this weekend, our boys from Hamworthy United, so Halifax, Hamworthy, beautiful. They are at home to Glebe as they look to progress. No, I've still got no clue where Glebe are, who Glebe are. So it's all behind Hamworthy in the Vars. But all in all, excitement is building as we are still on the road to Wembley. Wembley, we'll beat the first man. We're on the road to Wembley. Yes, and we're getting ever closer. Now, a little bit of time we had this, I think. The name game. Yes, the name game. As always, we bring you five-a-side team names with fantastic team names. There's been some belters over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Go back and watch the previous shows if you've not seen them, because you've missed some beauties. But don't worry, if you can't be asked to go and watch the last 5 shows where I've done it, here's another 5 team names for you now. Starting, banging, straight in, number 1, Rapid Viennetta. Yes, after that beautiful ice cream dessert, Rapid Viennetta. Lovely play on Rapid Vienna. Let's move on to number 2, Parmesan Belgrade. Love it. So Partizan Belgrade, beautifully switched for Parmesan Belgrade. We're liking that one a lot. Number 3, probably my favourite, Deportivo Lack of Talent. Yes, that is nice play on words. We're liking that one as well. Number 4, now think about this one. I'm going to give you the heads up. You need to read it out to yourself 2 or 3 times, then it will sink in. Because the first 2 times I read it, I went, that's not even funny. So number 4, Ajax Trees Down. There you go. Now you've done it. It's good, isn't it? And number 5, last but not least, and definitely not least, Substandard Liège. So there you go. There's your five-a-side team names for this weekend. If you've used any of these in your five-a-side leagues over the last few weeks, I want a screenshot of the team name being used on the Twitter account. So get on there, put the screenshot of you using one of these team names on there. That'll be the ultimate if we can get that. So zooming in, and it's back. We've not done one for a while, and this week we welcome a musical artist for you. I met up with an artist simply known as Dale, and trust me, this one will make you laugh an awful lot. He is a funny man. At the end of our chat, there is a clip of his song Lucifer, which was his Christmas single, but it doesn't matter. It's very good and well worth listening to. But for now, here's zooming in with me and Dale. So it's been a little while since we've done a musical zooming in, but I'm delighted to say it's back. And tonight, it may notice a familiar face with a little bit of difference. It's the man himself, a pop star who just has the one name. That's how good he is. Dale, how are we, sir?
I'm very well, Rudy. Thank you for having me on. I'm delighted to be back.
Absolute pleasure, my friend.
Good.
Yeah, no, those who don't remember Dale, he looked a little bit different last time he came on because it was November. And I think, we did compare him to a Mexican wrestler at the time when he was on as part of the Mind Aid special.
That's right.
And so just quickly on Mind Aid, we'll talk about that first, in fact. So you were part of the Mind Aid project, which was absolutely fantastic. It was brilliant. Everyone got behind it. How was it being part of that, Dale? How good was it?
Oh, it was great fun. The best thing for me getting out of it was getting to put faces to names of people I knew who were in bands but never really got to speak to them, and just be part. We had a big WhatsApp group that still continues on to this day, and it's a lovely, friendly place for people to ask advice. It's so cool. Like people are like, oh, I might be playing a show down here, and someone's like, I'm from there. And then, and people pitched in with little bits of like music advice and production advice and all sorts, and we have a good laugh in general. So no, it's been great to be part of it and continue to be part of it. And I dare say there'll be more stuff in the pipeline in the future.
Yeah, brilliant. And of course, it raised a massive amount of money, way beyond the wildest dreams, I think it was fair to say, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We got some amazing support, and I'm so thankful to everyone who pitched in, and it was absolutely class. So delighted to have been part of it and to raise some great money for Tiny Changes, which was just great.
Yeah. So moving on to you then, Dale. As I said before, you are so good that you only play by one name. You're like Prince, Bono, all those famous people. You are just Dale, simple as that. Beyonce, Rihanna,
Madonna.
We'll come back to Rihanna.
Oh, good.
So, but there will be people out there who don't know about you, Dale, as a musician, what you're about. So go for it. The sales floor is yours, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Well, there'll be plenty of people who don't know me. I'm fairly I'm fairly new to the scene, so it's a long time ago I played as part of a band, and we were doing pretty well up here in the old Glasgow scene, and just the age-old story, the guitarist's missus got pregnant. Oh God, someone else moved to Australia. Oh God. So we all actually left, and I just wasn't brave enough to pursue music myself for a long, long time. I'd also just recently, back then, I'd joined the fire brigade, and it just all seemed to kind of merge into this isn't the right time to be releasing music.
Yeah.
So fast forward 10 years, I've done all sorts of, started a publishing company called Speculative Books. We published novellas and poetry books. Did that with my mate Sam Small, who was the world slam poetry champion of 2018. And then I'd always played, and I continued to write songs, and I was just like, God, I miss that. So at the ripe age of 35, I've decided, you know what? Fuck it, I'll just go for it again. Why not? And I've had so much fun doing it, and I've had so much positive response as well. And I'm just delighted to be back and playing, actually getting to play shows. It was something for me to do during lockdown. Learned a whole bunch of music production, and just really thought, fuck it, let's go for it, and it's been absolutely, as I say, it's been so much fun doing it, and I'm looking forward to doing it more.
Brilliant. I mean, I was reading up to obviously 2021. You had a bit of a mad year because you did your first gig, your first EP, your first radio plays. So what have you got planned for 2020? How are you going to top that in 2022?
Oh, I don't know. First calendar. First good calendar. First, I don't know. There's so many firsts. That's the cool thing. I suppose my aim would be probably first album. Yeah. First, I'd love to get playing some festivals as well. I got some good news on that, but I can't tell anyone yet. But yes, okay. I'm looking forward to more firsts. With the first EP, I'd learned so much, as I was saying, about music production and stuff, and I really kind of focused on that heavily with the EP. Yeah. Whereas with my live performance, you do get a good bit of music production, but there's also a big chunk in the middle that's purely acoustic.
Right. Okay.
So I think I might just try and get some good, and I feel like I can actually do that well now. Like I can record that well. So I might just stick a couple of wee acoustic tunes out. There's a artist I've always loved called Daniel Johnson, who recorded, basically whenever he wanted to give someone his album, he would play a lot of open mics and stuff. I think he was Canadian, and someone would say, "Oh man, can I get a tape? Can I get your tape?" And he was like, "Sure thing. What's your name? What's your address?" And he would go home and record the whole album. Brilliant. Every time. just like acoustic, and I've always loved that. And he also did it every year. He would have like a musical diary of the year. I've wrote something like 20 odd songs this year, and I would love just to fucking record them all and stick them on a tape. I think that'd be so much fun. So yeah, just trying to simplify the music back down to how it was written, I think, and just try and have a bit of fucking fun doing it, man.
Yeah, why not? That's what it's all about. That's at the end of the day. if this isn't our job, that's what it's all about. It's just about having fun and enjoying yourself doing what you like doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
I mean, I'm not resigned to, one day I would like to do this well enough. So hopefully one day I could fucking leave my job. That dream's not dead. You know what I mean? So we'll wait and see.
I'm waiting for the day that BBC catch this and go, excuse me, sir, we've got a great idea here.
Here's like thousands of pounds of like terrified women's money that they've scared the TV license out of, that they've turned up at old women's houses. Like, I could give you license money and you'll be there like, yes.
Take this bag of cash, sir. So Christmas time, you actually brought out your own Christmas single, Dale. You brought out a song called Lucifer, which it's fair to say wasn't your standard Christmas single.
Well, maybe not. It was all about how Lucifer. I'll tell you the kind of story about writing that song. I was writing it about, and I was getting a little bit serious about it. I was like, oh God, and then I realised, God, this is actually really funny. It was really sad because it was like, oh God, there's like, there's no angel for my tree. I don't have a door to hang my wreath. There's no one here to pull my cracker. There's no mulled wine and there's no Santa. And it was kind of like written from this perspective of someone who was having a really awful Christmas. And it was sad. And I was like, oh my God, it's a little bit too sad.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? It'd be fucking funny if this was Satan. Because who else would hate Christmas more? You know what I mean? So I thought I'd put that twist on it and make it a little bit more like trying to still get this serious message across.
Yeah.
But actually do it with a little bit of fun, you know what I mean? And I had so much fun doing that. So as well as with the Mind Aid thing, I was doing that, and it was so much fun being part of both these projects. So we're both making money for Tiny Changes.
Yeah.
So it was so cool, and I got to shoot. Oh, there's another first. I got to shoot my first music video last year as well.
Yeah.
With the aptly named Occult Productions, and I am so delighted with how the video turned out and the response it got to. So I was just absolutely December, like you're saying, 2021 was crazy, but December was the craziest. It was great fun.
For those that haven't seen the video, there will be a clip of the video after this chat, so stick around and watch that, because genuinely the song is, you're right, it's very, very funny, but there is a serious message to it in the background. But it is very, very funny, and the video's absolutely class. It's just superb. So when we did the Mind Aid chat, we did the question about collaborating with artists. Now, you went down a very serious route and you said that you wanted to collaborate with Rihanna, and I quote, because you wanted to drink Buckfast in a field with her.
Oh, right, okay. Aye. I was actually a little bit drunk when we were doing that podcast recording. So that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I've had to mix it up this time because I can't ask you the collaboration question. So I've made a bit of a change to it. It's a bit of a twist.
Okay.
So
okay.
You can be part of any band at any time in the world. Who would you be part of?
Oh, well, I think the only reason I've ever wanted to get into music, there's two front people that I've always wanted to be. One of them being Julian Casablancas of the Strokes, and the other would be Howlin' Pelle Almqvist from the Hives.
Yeah. When
I was growing up, they were just my two. I just adored both of them. But I'll probably say I would like to be. God, that is such a great question, and I wish I'd prepped for it, because I would go crazy thinking about this, you know. So, it's a really, really great question. I bet as soon as I hang up, I get a better answer. But I'll just say, I'll tell you what, I'll be Paul Simon and Simon and Garfunkel.
Brilliant.
and remember when they did the kind of reunion gig at Madison Square Garden? I think it was in 1995 or something. I'm not that old, by the way, but I've watched it on YouTube a few times, and it was just a magical thing. So yeah, I'll boot Paul Simon at the way. I'll be Paul Simon.
All right.
Art will be here doing his thing, and we'll just have a beautiful show.
Okay, so here's the gig then. So you do the gig with Simon and Garfunkel. You are now Simon.
Yes.
Day after, you can never be Dale again. Music is over forever.
Oh God.
Do you take on that gig, or do you carry on as Dale the musician?
Oh, see, Paul. Oh, I'm now Paul Simon. that's a tough one. See, I've got such a wonderful life. I've got a beautiful cat. I've got a beautiful wife. Oh, my adventure's just beginning. I don't think I can give it up to be Paul Simon.
No,
that's his life.
Him.
Guy. Paul, I absolutely love and adore you, but I'll remain as myself, I think.
Oh, brilliant. Good answer, my friend. Right, let's move on to football then, Dale. So we did briefly mention it in Mind Day, but you are our first ever Kilmarnock fan who's been on the show. So
fantastic.
For those who don't know, south of the border, because there will be a few don't know, you're down in the Scottish Championship now, got relegated last season.
Yeah.
Just fired Tommy Wright.
That's right.
Correct decision or incorrect decision?
Oh, absolutely correct decision. I'm afraid in the situation we're in, we can't afford to be losing 5 games on the trot. So it's we're dying to bounce back up. So in that situation, I would have loved for him to have more time, but it didn't seem to be the right balance. And with Derek McInnes coming in, who is a far more likely, he's got a great track record.
Yeah.
Particularly with smaller teams as well, and getting them up and getting the team together and playing well. So, yeah, I am very excited by McInnes now arriving.
It's a brilliant appointment, because for those that don't know, I mean, you're only talking probably 3 years ago that he turned down Rangers to stay with Aberdeen. And suddenly now he's managing in the Scottish Championship. It's a fantastic appointment. It's got to be said. It really is. And I think you have got us. I mean, there were, again, and this is not meant to patronise anybody either. North of, I'm a Scottish boy. I was born in Paisley, so it's not meant to patronise anyone north of the border or south of the border. People don't realise how hard the Scottish Championship is to get out.
Oh
of.
yeah,
it is without
absolutely.
doubt the most difficult league. I would say that and the English Championship are on a par with the 2 most difficult leagues to get out of.
I tell you what, I was fairly like, my mate's a Hibs fan. And they've went down and back up again, and when we first got relegated, I was devastated. I was like, oh my God, we're never going to come back, kind of thing, And I was on the phone to him, and he was like, this is my mate Hammy, and he was like, honest to God, man, you are going to love being in the Championship. It's so much more competitive. It's just great fun. And no harm to Rangers or Celtic fans, but it's actually great to get a fucking break from them. I have actually really loved being part of the Championship. I've not got to, obviously due to COVID and stuff like that, I've not really got to see any games, which I'm devastated about. But God, it's so cool. Like, unexpected things happen. Like, our Broth are leading this, and how cool is that? You know what I mean? And so I've really enjoyed. I don't want to stay down there.
No.
However, if we stayed down, it's not the end of the world, because, as you say, it's a great competitive league, and it's really piqued my interest in the game again. So yeah, I'm not delighted we got relegated, but every cloud silver lining and all that.
There would be nothing more beautiful and this would be a man that only people north of the border will know, than watching Dick Campbell walk out at Ibrox or Celtic Park as manager of our Growth. It would be absolutely incredible. I mean, if he gets them up, without a shadow of doubt, manager of the year for the next 5 years, it would be an unbelievable 100%. Achievement.
100%. And being a Kilmarnock fan as well, you're rooting for all the wee teams. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Kilmarnock are a fairly large team, so I may be the bad guy in this situation, wanting Kilmarnock to get promoted. You know what I mean? But it's such a class, no matter what. I mean, Arbroath can't be hanging their heads at all, because it's such, like, coming to the winter break, leading the Championship's massive. Yeah. It's so cool. So I wish them all the success.
But can they finish second?
Aye, if that's okay. Aye, there's 2 or 3 things. Being a Kilmarnock fan, you get your typical kind of slagging off of the rest of from the rest of Scotland. We've got 2 things, which is, our first thing is that we've got a plastic pitch, and everyone despises it, and I just have to find myself explaining the plastic pitch all the time. And I've got no defence on it, you know. It's like, I don't want a plastic pitch, you know.
But it
So
is
I've
what
got no
it is.
defence. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's calls for it to be like none of the top flight teams should have the plastic pitch and stuff like that. I kind of agree, but what can you do? The plastic pitch is there.
Yeah.
And the other thing we get is we're Rangers fans without the bus ticket. So that's the other thing, which is just so offensive and horrible.
Well, you see, I'm going to skip a question now because it was below my next one. So, I was born in Paisley. I've got a very, very soft spot for St Mirren. I do still follow St Mirren's results. If I go back up to Scotland, I'll go and try and tie in and watch a game and go and see them. And the worst thing I ever used to find when I speak to anyone down here, you'd say, "Oh, who's your Scottish team?" I go, "Oh, St Mirren." They say, "Well, yeah, but no, out Celtic and Rangers, who's your Scottish team?" Well,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about either of them. I genuinely, I couldn't give two monkeys about either of the two clubs. I don't care, to be honest. If they're both playing in Europe, I hope they do all right because they're Scottish clubs. I hope they do okay. But the actual reality is, for the other, let's say they play 38 games. For the other 34 games when they're not playing each other, I hope they both lose.
Yeah.
And that's the reality, isn't it? For fans of other teams in Scotland, we don't care.
No, that's the thing. I remember my wife's from Ireland, and she stays in Belfast, right? And I went to an old pub. It's now called something completely different, but it was called Auntie Annie's. And I was in having a pee, right? And I was doing a pee. This is me doing a pee.
And, for those who don't know what a man doing a pee looks like, there it is.
And an old boy came in and he was like falling about, and I was like, "Oh God, here we go." And he went, "How you doing?" I won't do the accent because it's offensive, but he was like, "How you doing, mate?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he went, "Oh, Scottish?" I went, "Yeah, you've cracked it." And it's like, well. It's like, well, what? He was like, Rangers or Celtic? I said, neither. I'm a Kilmarnock fan. And he went like that. I'm a Celtic fan. Who the fuck are you talking about? Like that, quite aggro.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you should know because you beat us fucking 3-0 today. So it's like, so it's just that complete blinker. It's Rangers or Celtic. There's no other teams, and it's a bit. It can get a bit tiresome at times, you know what I mean? Because there's so many great teams up here. Then they just get completely pied, you know. Like when you watch, like, say, the BBC News or any news channel, it's like Rangers and Celtic have done this, and that's that.
And now something else.
Yes, and now on to rugby.
So last question on football before we go on to your five-a-side team. So not necessarily the best player, or not even, doesn't have to be in your five-a-side team, your favourite ever Kilmarnock player. If you were back in the school playground, who would you want to be?
Oh, well, there was a fella called Stevie Naismith, who I just really, really loved. He went down to Everton. He played great for Scotland. I remember seeing him score a hat-trick against Motherwell at the Scottish Cup final. And it's not Scottish Cup final, it was semi-final. Sorry, I was getting a bit ahead of myself there. But no, he was just absolutely class. It sparked so much life into the team, and it was a kind of local boy as well. So yeah, I just loved Naismith, and I'm glad I got to give him a wee shout out there because he's not in the five-a-side team.
Right, there we go. There you go. Good stuff. Right, let's move on to it. This is the part the musicians all love, all the bands love. You get to pick your ultimate five-a-side team. The only rules, you have to have seen them play live. It's one goalie, one defender, two midfielders, and a striker. So let's kick it off. And because it's a very high budget show, I have to write down the names of your players so I can put the pictures up later. So
nice.
Let's start with your goalkeeper.
Okay, so for my goalkeeper, I'm going with the one and only Jim Leighton, who fantastic Scottish goalkeeper, who had seen a few times, and I just loved him. Because see, whenever you watched him on telly, like he played so many caps. I've got some fun facts for all my players. Here's a fun fact. Fun fact: Jim Leighton played 91 times for Scotland, second only to Kenny Dalglish, who played 102 appearances. So that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's pretty good, pretty impressive.
So when I loved it because when you went down the national anthem, you know, down to all the players' faces, and then it would get to Jim Leighton, it would always be somebody in the pub, fucking hell, look at the state of him. And I just loved him. He used to wear like Vaseline on his eyebrows, and he was just such a cool character and gave his heart and soul to absolutely everything he did. And I remember there was a game that was playing against Rangers. Someone will be able to tell you what the tie was. It was some sort of cup tie. Yeah. And he was either with Aberdeen or Hibs at the time, and they were playing against Rangers. And I think it was in the first 2 minutes. I remember seeing this as a wee guy, and it stuck with me forever. It was like somebody swung a ball in to Rod Wallace, who was playing for Rangers, and they went 50-50 and clashed. His knee went into Jim Leighton's face, and he pure dislocated his jaw. And it was like, oh, wow, you know, this was insane to me. It was like, wow. And they got taken off and was dying to come back on, but wasn't allowed back on. And it was all very dramatic and wonderful. And it all just very much stuck with me. Now, the cool thing about doing this podcast is that I got to like research the players a little bit. And because to me, Jim Leighton was just some crazy
dude with Vaseline.
Aye, exactly. And it was just this. Most of the players I've picked here are players that have stuck in my mind from when I was wee and got me into football. But actually, I didn't know too much about them. So it was cool. And I found out some more cool stuff about Jim Leighton. So it was like, he used to play Aberdeen, Hibs, but he was also down at Man U for a long time. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he played under Alex Ferguson, who'd then, they were in for like the FA Cup final, and it went to a replay, and Jim Leighton and Alex Ferguson infamously dropped him from this tie, and they just hate each other. Yeah. So as I was doing my research, I was like, whoa, this is a cool story. And I was looking at it a wee bit deeper, and it says Jim Leighton has now opened up on the full extent of his fallout with his former manager, and admits if Ferguson wants to join the ex-Aberdeen players' social media group, of which Jim Leighton is part of, he'll be out. Leighton's out of there. If Fergie thinks he can come into the social media WhatsApp, he's fucking gone.
You can see it now, can't you? WhatsApp group, Jim Leighton has left the group.
Oh my God. Fergie has joined. Angry face emojis.
Brilliant. I've even wrote down Vaseline. I'm gonna try and get a picture with the Vaseline for the when we do your team. So I'll have a look. See if I can find one. Right.
On a serious note, he's just so good. He's just the amount of caps is just so cool. You know.
No,
over so many years.
We'll take that one. So who are we going with as your defender in front of Jim?
Well, I thought this was a nice pairing because two big, scary Scottish dudes. So, whenever I played football when I was younger, I wasn't immediately good, right? Yeah. Which meant I then got not relegated, but I played in defence a lot. And then I just fell in love with being a defender. It's my favourite thing. And this guy was just such an inspiration when I was a wee guy. And it's Braveheart himself, Colin Hendry, who's just a big, shocking-looking dude. You know, he's got the big, bright, you know, the not bleach blonde. He's just super blonde, 6'1", big, wins every header. Boots it into Rose Ed every time. Slide tackles for, you know, when you play FIFA and you've not learned the buttons and you just know how to slide tackle. That's all he does. He just constant slides, and I just thought he was
that's brilliant.
He was the most fantastic, no nonsense footballer, and I just thought he was great. So let me see. Have I got a fun fact? Yes, fun fact about Colin Hendry.
Let's go.
Is that he earned 51 caps for Scotland, scoring 3 times. And he didn't actually start his international career until he was 27 years old. So a late comer to the old team.
There's hope for us all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, 27's a little bit behind me now.
50, I might be pushing it.
We may be able to get a late start for the walking
football.
Aye. But yeah, he was just so great, and he was kind of that way that, you know, you felt like as a defender, as a wee guy, you were like, oh God, I'm in defence.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. But he was like, no, he was the focal point of the team. He was the captain, and it was like, right, you know, and he won a title as well with Blackburn.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Good shout. So let's move into the middle part of the pitch. Your first of your two midfielders.
Now, this is just a guy who I remember seeing when I was wee, and the fella I mentioned earlier, Hammy, we watched a lot of football together, and this guy, we just fell in love with this fella, and I've no idea why. It's Russell Latapy, who's
what a footballer!
Oh, he was great. He had so much flair, and you know, he would run up and down the wing and do skill. You never seen skill in the Scottish League, you know what I mean? And it was, whoa, step overs, Jesus. And it was like, it was just so class. And I remember there was always like rumours about him that he would, at half time, he would go smoke 5 fags.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like he'd be in the subs bench having a fag when he gets subbed off and stuff like that. And we just thought he was so different and so wonderful. And it was just absolutely just such a joy to watch him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why he's made the team.
I was listening to a Scottish football podcast actually the other night, and now John Yogi Hughes was on there talking about Russell Latapy, and he said 2 things about Russell Latapy. He said the first thing, when you're doing your team talks, he was never there because he was having a fag. That was number 1, and number 2, he said he's genuinely the nicest person on the planet. He said anybody stops to talk to him for a photo, anything, he will always stop and talk. You want a story from him, he'll give you a story. Apparently, he's genuinely one of the loveliest men on the planet. So
very cool.
There you go. You've got a nice guy in your team as well.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah.
You need the nice one.
I mean, you got 2 horrible bastards behind him.
So it'll be an interesting one so far, because it'll just be them. It'll just get hoofed up to him. You know what I mean?
So who have we got alongside the chain smoking Russell Latapy?
We have a Kilmarnock player who I just adored. He was there for a long time, and has probably the coolest name in football ever. It's Australian winger Danny Invincible.
Fantastic.
who was there for a long time, as I was saying. He was there since 2003, and I think he was there till like 2011. You know what I mean? He was there for a long time, proper workhorse, and he was signed by probably my favourite Kilmarnock manager, Jim Jeffries. And the reason I've put him in is, God, I keep mentioning Hammy, but myself and Hammy, we'd won a karaoke competition at the local pub. I'm from a wee town called Maybole, and our prize for this was a hospitality at Rugby Park. So myself, Hammy, his big brother Liam, or Big Hammy, and our mate Lee. 3 boys from South Ayrshire, or 4 boys from South Ayrshire, all dolled up in our suits. We looked like we were going to a court date, you know what I mean? It's like, but off we went to Rugby Park, and little did we know it, but we were actually sitting with like landlords, and it was like marketing people from Foster's, the beer, who was sponsoring the event or something along those lines. And so it was great. We got there, and it was free booze, and you got a wee killie pie at half time, and they were playing against Hearts. So the more and more we were drinking, the more and more fun we were having, obviously.
Of course.
And then at the end of the game, somebody came up and said, right, so because you guys are the sponsors of the match, you get to pick the man of the match. And we were like, what? we get to pick the man of the match? And then I turned to them, Hammy and Liam, and I was like, Liam, who do you think? He's a Hearts fan, and that's who we were playing. And it was a 2-0, 2 each draw. And he was like, I don't know, man. Tell you what, that fucking Danny Invincible's pretty hot though, isn't he? I was like, he is very handsome. Do you want to meet? Fuck it, let's meet him. So we picked Danny Invincible purely for the fact that he was gorgeous.
Oh, brilliant.
But he did play very well. I do think he got 2 assists in the game. So yeah, it was a mix of gorgeousness and skill. But
There's a little feature I do called the name game, where we pick out footballers from all around the world with brilliant footballing names. And Danny Invincible was one of the names that we had. And he was probably about the 7th or 8th week in, we had Danny Invincible. So it all just links together beautifully.
This is it.
Have you got a top fact about Danny Invincible for us?
Oh, yes. Fun fact. He stayed in the club, and he actually refused a move back to the A-League to play for Melbourne Victory in 2006, just because he was Kilmarnock through and through. You know what I mean? And I was just like, there we go. He deserves to be in my team for that fact.
He chose the beautiful weather of Kilmarnock over Melbourne.
Oh, that's it. The beautiful drizzle.
Right, so just one left to pick then, Dale. Who is your main man, your number 9, your striker?
Well, being Scottish and for inspirational players and all around nice dudes, as we were saying, I had to go with Super Ali McCoist. I just think he's such a wonderful, he's just great. He's such a fantastic player. Seen him play several times. He finished his career at Kilmarnock as well, and he's just an absolute laugh of a guy as well. Now that he's doing the punditry, see when you're watching a game and you might be a little bit invested in the game, or you might not even care about the game, and they say, and now to your commentary team like John Champion and Ali McCoist, you're like, oh, you absolute dancer. Here we go. He's just so he's the anti-Roy Keane. You know, Roy Keane's like, oh, I hate everyone.
Yeah.
But they don't know how to play nowadays. The referees are all shite, blah, blah, blah. Whereas Ali McCoist's like, I'm getting paid to watch football. This is amazing. And he just absolutely adores what he does. And I think it makes for absolutely infectious watching. And I've had the pleasure of meeting him a few times as well. And he's just such a lovely dude to talk to. So I was like, you know what, we need somebody in there. I think he would organise the post-match pints as well. I think so. And there's so many. Like, he knows how to spin a yarn as well. You know what I mean? So he would just be a lovely guy to have on the field. A, because he's fucking class, and B, because it would just be nice to show up every week and spend a bit of time with him.
Yeah, I have to say, as someone who watches a lot of the English Premier League, he has been a brilliant addition to the commentary teams and the punditry down here. Absolutely brilliant. And the fact that he adores my team, Leeds United, just makes it even sweeter, because he's got nothing bad to say about them ever. Even no matter how shit they're playing, he's still like, nah, fuck it. I love Bielsa. I love this. I love that. The man's, he's great. I love Ali. And I think secretly, if you ask most Celtic fans, even they'd all love him as well.
Well, see, he's one of the few players that I think have managed to, like, you know, be kind of Scots-centric, like, because of his passion of the Tartan Army and the Scotland team as a player and as an assistant manager when he was there with Walter Smith as well. It was just, you could tell that he adores playing for Scotland and he really wants the national team to do well. So, you know, there's a few players that seem to leave a little bit more of a kind of slant on it, whereas he's like, nah, this is great. And it's always nice. It's nice when you can talk about a player and not be marred with that shite. You know, so it's
what a beautiful note to end it on.
Yes.
So have we got one last fun fact about Ali McCoist?
Oh yes, and I'll since we're on, you know, since I'm the only Kelly fan and it's the only time you're ever going to get Kelly facts, I thought I would give you one of these. So his final game was at the age of 38 against Celtic in 2001. And Kilmarnock actually beat Celtic that day. He was on the bench injured, believe it or not. But they just put him on the bench so he was on the team sheet.
Yeah.
And Oh no, I'm talking absolute garbage. Sorry. He was subbed off on that game.
Right.
So he was subbed off, and that was he made way for Chris Boyd, who made his debut
Right. Okay.
that day, which was then, Kilmarnock's best ever, probably scorer of like striker. You know what I mean? So that was cool. It was like a nice kind of passing of the guards
switch
type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my super fun fact.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Dale, that has been an awful lot of fun. Genuinely, thank you so much for tonight. It's been brilliant. And I'm sure all the audience are going to absolutely love you. I know they are, in fact.
Well, I hope so.
If this is the first time you've watched Dale, please do the honourable thing. Go and download his music. Go and listen to his music. That's what he's really on here for. And, he does produce good music. If you like your Jerry Cinnamon, I think you'll like Dale somehow. Fair to say, Dale?
I get compared to Jerry a lot.
There you go.
We're both Scottish and we both play guitars.
There you go. I mean, I know it's a lazy comparison, but it was the best.
Hey, why not? Go for it, man. I'm not gonna. I will not. I will take the compliment very nicely. Thank you.
So for now, it's back to the show, and here is a clip of Dale and his Christmas song, Lucifer. Right, my.
My name is Lucifer, and Christmas, it's my least favourite time of year. 'Cause there's no reindeer, there's no snow, there's no kisses under mistletoe. It's just me eating my dinner on my own. And no one shares Christmas dinner with a sinner. No one shares Christmas dinner with a sinner. My name is Satan, and Christ's birthday, it's just the worst. 'Cause there's no angel for my tree, I don't have a door to hang my wreath. There's no one here to pull my cracker, there's no mulled wine and there's no Santa. There's no jingle bells in hell. There's no jingle bells in hell.
There we go then. Wasn't he absolutely superb? Love the chat with Dale. So please go and download his music. Give it a listen. Honestly, that's what it's all about. Not only do they give us some laughs on here, but go and listen to their music. That's the important bit at the end. On next week's show, we've got a bit of a twist where we've got an actual author coming on the show. Yes, a man who has wrote a book is coming on this little show. So it's a gent called Tim Cooper. He's wrote the book We Go Again. It was about his journey watching 119 football matches in one season. So that'll be a good one. And trust me, some of the places he went to beggar belief. And we will be quizzing him on that next week on the show. So this little fella is back again, young Ted. So he's got his little knob of the week trophy ready to hand out. So how are we then, Ted? Yeah, we're all fine, Reedy. Should we just hand it to Boris Johnson now and save time? No, Ted, it's a football show, not a political show. Please keep it to football. But Reedy, parties in 10 Downing Street in lockdown. I know, Ted, I know it does take some explaining, but we have to keep it to football. The minute we go down the politics route, honestly, we're done. We're out of here. That's it. It's over. This career will be done. But Reedy, it'd be brilliant giving it to him. I mean, that haircut, the bumbling behaviour, all we need now is the old vehicle reversing noises before he speaks, and it's absolutely perfect. Right, Ted, enough of that. Let's get back to the football. Have you got any nominations for this week? Well, Reedy, a few people mentioned the VAR at the West Ham v Leeds game. Quite correct. Should have won it. Shocking decision, by the way. Oh, I could have done a little shouty man about that one, but I won't. I'll leave it. I'll move on. Don't want to look bitter, but it was an absolute shocker. No, so they didn't win it then, Ted. No. A few people said Eddie Howe after his comments about why Trippier signed. Yeah, you see earlier on in the show for my comments on it. Atletico Madrid, Newcastle, clearly part of the project. Clearly, Reedy, not for money at all. I agree, 100%. So if none of them have won it, who has managed to scoop the prize? Well, let me tell you, you'll be surprised. It goes to a massive organisation. Oh, it's a big club then, Ted. Big clubs won it. No, it's not a big club at all, Reedy. It's eBay. eBay? eBay? Are you for real? Yes, Reedy. Didn't you see this tweet? Ah, yes, the tweet. So the story goes, in the Juventus v Roma game at the weekend, Federico Chiesa suffered a knee injury, and eBay rather crassly decided to put that tweet in because they're doing a dream transfer promotion at the moment where I think you can buy a player for your Sunday League team. Anyway, rather crassly, not only did they put that tweet up, having just seen Chiesa get stretchered off, they tagged Juventus in it. I mean, come on. There's banter and there's banter. I mean, so poor. Not the brightest of moves. So, Ted, I can't disagree. This week's little knob of the week, without a shadow of doubt, goes to eBay. Interesting one, interesting. Should we charge them, Reedy, for everything like they do with us? Good idea, Ted. See you later then for How Old the Reveal. There we go then. eBay winners of Little Knob of the Week. That is definitely a first on this show. So after recommending that you took a listen to Rats last week, I think it's time we gave Kian another go to see what we need to be listening up to this week. So here's Kian with Listen Up.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another Kian Says Listen Up, where I'll give you a song to listen to this week. And this week, it's not a song, it's an album. But the issue is, it's meant to be for like small artists, but he might be like one of the biggest artists in the world. I couldn't really find anything else, and it came out on Friday last week. Dawn FM by The Weeknd. It's a great album. It follows on from his last one, After Hours. So if you've not heard that, go listen to that as well. But yeah, he's one of the biggest artists in the world. So if you've not heard it, then listen to it. But you probably have. And Fontaine's DC, they're also releasing a new song. This has been recorded on Tuesday. So probably on Tuesday. I think it is on Tuesday. I didn't hear it. It was played on the radio, but I think they'll release it on Spotify afterwards. So yeah, go and listen to that as well. But yeah, keen to listen up to those two songs. Yeah.
There we go then, a new album for you from Kian. It's the album by The Weeknd. Imagine my surprise when I first found out The Weeknd weren't a band, but it was one man. What a strange name. Is Weeknd his surname? Is the his first name? I don't know. I'm so confused. I don't like it anyway, but it's his choice. Lineal European Cups then, so it made its return last week in the Lineal European Cup. Remember the boys from Armenia, Bielefeld, won the Lineal European Cup just before the shutdown. Well, they travelled to our old friends from Freiburg. Now, Freiburg up near the top of the league, Bielefeld in the bottom two. Freiburg 2-0 up at half-time. It was looking like the trophy was heading back to Freiburg. But wait, Bielefeld wanted to keep that trophy. And a goal from Masaya Ogukawa, beautifully pronounced for all my Japanese viewers, reduced the deficit, and he might have been Korean either as well. I don't know. I don't know. Could have messed that one up. Oriental viewers. Reduced the deficit in a dramatic equaliser 3 minutes from time, but Brian Lasme meant the boys from Bielefeld have retained the trophy. They're back in action this weekend when they entertain fellow strugglers at Greuther Fürth, looking for a second defence of the trophy. Still no action in the Lineal UEFA Cup because Hungarian football is still not back yet. You've got a couple of weeks before Debrecen are back defending their trophy. But with Ted back, or on his way back, it can only mean one thing, which is How Old the Reveal. So Ted, are we feeling confident this week? Reedy, I won't lie, he looked like he could be my dad. Ted, I won't lie, I think you could be right. Have you ever done your family tree? Does the surname Flanagan appear anywhere? Not that I'm aware of, Reedy. It's just Ted. That's how I roll. What, like Dale? Just one name? Yeah, just like Dale, just Ted. Okay, so come on then, let's have your guess. Well, Reedy, any man that's willing to fight his own teammate on the pitch gets a thumbs up from me. So I will go kind and say he's 29. Well, let's find out if you're right then, Ted. So when this photo of Mike Flanagan was taken, I can tell you he was 27 years old, Ted, so you were hardly being kind. Well, really, I was going to say 33, so in reality, I was being very kind. Anyway, just checked. He isn't my dad. He's not good looking enough, and he has hands, and I don't. Brilliant, Ted. So we'll catch up with you next week then. Yeah, I'm off to go and big up Derek Hales, who we had the fight with. Brilliant. So yeah, YouTube it. Derek Hales, Mike Flanagan. proper haymakers. Beautiful. Anyway, that's the end of another show. Thank you so much for joining us and for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you were new to the show, don't forget to click the subscribe down below. Drop us the old thumbs up because we like those. But more importantly, now you're on board the BTFM bus, there's one thing that's very important for you to know, and that is, ding ding, next stop, Thursday the 20th of January for what will be episode 71. But for now, from me, Reedy, stay safe, everybody.